loans. How much can you afford? Have you ever thought about how you're going to pay for any particular item? You can use cash, debit card, or check, which are essentially the same thing. We must have cash in the account in order to make these purchases. Our second option is to pay something with a credit card or take out a loan. Do you have student loans or loan for a car? Do you own a house? Chances are that you owe money for at least one of these purchases. If so, you not only have to pay back the money that you borrowed, but also have to pay interest on the money that you owe. When you are contributing to a savings account, interest is accruing in your favor, meaning the banks are paying you interest for banking with them. When you take out a loan, interest is the charge that you as the borrower must pay for the privilege of using the money you do not have. Interest is the cost of borrowing money. Let's take a look at a few key principles. The loan principal is the amount of money owed at any particular time. The loan term is the time you have to pay back the loan. Interest is charged on the loan principal, and the loan term is the duration that you have to pay back the loan. The annual percentage rate, or the APR, is the interest that is charged on the loan. A down payment is the amount of money you must pay up front in order to qualify for the loan. Typically, the down payment is a percentage of the sale price of the item. For example, a 10% down payment may be required to get a loan to purchase a home. Since the down payment is a percentage based upon the sale price of the home, the more expensive the home, the larger the required down payment. There are two types of loan scenarios that we will focus on in this class. The first is called a deferred interest loan. A deferred interest loan is a loan where interest on the item or items is deferred or put off for a set time, so long as the balance of the principal is paid down prior to the end of the loan term. This is a great payment option if you know that you will be able to pay off the purchase in the given time frame. However, if you break the terms of the agreement, interest is usually charged and calculated from the date of purchase, regardless of how much of the principal you have paid down. Deferred interest loans are typical in a lot of store promotions or special or seasonal deals, especially around Christmas time or any other holiday. Generally speaking, a deferred interest loan can be thought of as no interest if paid in full by a certain date. Let's follow along with the following example. George has decided to purchase a new HD 55-inch LED Sony television from Best Buy for $995. Since Christmas season is close upon us, Best Buy is offering a special in-store financing option of 0% APR for 6 months if paid in full. In order to receive this special financing, George must make a 15% down payment today, and he can walk home with the new TV. What is George's monthly payment? Again, when reading these types of problems, it's important to look for the key phrases or the key terms to point us in what type of loan we are going to be dealing with. In this particular case, 0% APR for 6 months if paid in full indicates we are dealing with a deferred interest loan, meaning we are not going to be charged interest if we can pay off the entire balance of the TV inside of those 6 months. Let's take a look at the solution. We know that the sale price is $995, we'll exclude tax to begin with. We know that George must have a down payment of 15%. Remember, the down payment is going to be required at the date of purchase. We must find out what 15% of $995 is to figure out what George is going to finance or begin paying off. Let's set up a proportion to figure out the 15% down payment. We solve any proportion by cross multiplying, and then we get our nice one-step equation. 100n equal to 14,925. Dividing through by 100 to solve for n, which in this particular case, remember, units are going to be understood here. We see that n, or 15% of 995, is $149.25. So, what have we found so far? We know that the 15% down payment that George must have today in order to take home or walk away with the TV is $149.95, leaving him a balance of $845.75. This $845.75 is what he is going to finance through the store. Since George is not going to be paying any sort of an annual percentage rate, he has 6 months to pay off that $845.75. Notice to figure out what his monthly payment is going to be, we're doing nothing more than coming up with a unit rate, meaning how much must George pay every single month in order to pay off his remaining balance. we see that with a down payment of $149.95, George can make equal monthly payments of $140.96 in order to pay off the remaining balance of the TV. The second type of loan we will focus on in this class is an installment loan. An installment or amortized loan is a loan that you pay off with equal regular payments. It differs from the deferred interest loan because interest is charged and calculated from the date of purchase. A disadvantage of this type of loan is that interest can add substantial amount to the cost of the purchase. A loan is amortized if both the principal and interest are paid off by a sequence of equal periodic payments. For this reason, installment loans can also be referred to as amortized loans. People use these types of loans to purchase cars, boats, home improvements, and even for consolidating several loans into one affordable loan. Installment loans gradually pay down the loan principal while the payments remain the same. Therefore, the following two features will always apply to installment loans. The interest due each month gradually decreases, and the amount paid towards the principal each month gradually increases. The installment loan formula, or the equal loan repayment formula with interest, is shown here. When an installment loan is being paid off through a series of equal and regular payments, it is said to be amortized, which literally means killed off. Although each payment remains the same, with each successive payment the interest portion decreases and the portion applied towards paying off the principal increases. A document showing how the payment is split between interest and principal is called the loan amortization schedule, which you can see a graph on the next slide. Most banks will provide an amortization schedule for any loan you are considering. As you can see by the graph, early on in the loan term, the portion of the regular payment going towards interest is relatively high and the portion going towards principal is relatively low. As the loan term proceeds, this pattern gradually reverses, and toward the end of the loan term, most of the regular and recurring payments are paying down the principal rather than the interest. In class, we will learn how we can create this amortization schedule. Let's take a look at an actual example. Suppose you have student loans totaling $7,500 when you graduate from college. Suppose you make monthly payments for 10 years to pay off the loan that has an annual percentage rate of 9%. Find your monthly payment, determine how much you will pay over the lifetime of the loan, and what is the total interest you will pay on the loan. Let's begin with finding your monthly payment. We will use the time value of money application, or TVM solver, in order to calculate this. All of the variables are going to represent the same thing as they did with the savings situation. Capital N is the total number of compounds that we are going to have in this particular case. We know that we are going to be making monthly payments, meaning 12 payments per year over the course of 10 years. 12 times 10 gives me a total number of payments, or a total number of times that interest is going to be calculated, of 120. The interest rate is 9%. The present value, or the loan principal, is $7,500. We don't know what our reoccurring or monthly payment turns out to be. That's what we're looking to figure out. Notice, anytime we are dealing with an installment loan, the future value is always going to be 0. In any loan scenario, we are trying to pay back the entirety of the loan, so the future value of that loan is always 0. PY and CY, of course, referring to the number of compounds, the number of payments per year, which again, these values will always be equal. Since we are making monthly payments and interest is calculated on a monthly basis, both of those quantities are 12. Slide back up to the PMT variable and solve. So we see that our monthly payment will be approximately $95.01. To figure out how much we pay over the course of the entire loan, we use a simple unit conversion. Remember, we know that we are going to be paying $95.01 per month. There are 12 months in a given year, and we're paying that over the course of 10 years. Our units cancel out very nicely. Multiplying these fractions straight across, we see that you will pay approximately $11,401.20 on the entire loan. To figure out how much interest was charged on the loan, we subtract the loan principal from the total paid on the loan. Remember, when we pay back a loan, we are making payments to the original principal and the interest that is being charged. So, of our total payments, meaning the $11,401.20, of that, $7,500 went towards paying back the principal. Whatever the difference is, must have been the interest charged. So we see that we would pay $3,901.20 in interest for this particular loan.